In this video, I'm going to show you how I do a first e-collar session where I layer the e-collar over obedience commands to create rock solid obedience. In order to have actual rock solid obedience, you need to be able to follow through or follow up with your dog if they blow you off. So you can absolutely do that with just leash training, but then you really have to always keep a leash on your dog, which if you're outside in public spaces, great. But if you're just inside your house, I don't know, it's kind of annoying to keep a leash on your dog. And if you don't have a leash, then you're in this wild game of like, you're either chasing your dog around or you just have to rely on them to do what you say. And that's not always the case. So you have those instances, and then you have other instances where you're outside and you do either have your dog off leash in an off leash appropriate area, or your dog escapes. They just run after something when you're not expecting them to. And using an e-collar is a fantastic way to ensure a reliable recall. So I'll go through and just show how I begin to layer the e-collar at super low levels over the obedience that this girl already has. So in general, it's good to, or I prefer to do a few days of leash work and set a foundation so the dog knows what's going on with the commands before we layer it over the obedience. There are circumstances where you can just jump right into e-collar obedience, but I won't get into that here. So this dog has had a few days already of some leash training, and now I'm going to add the e-collar, layer it over, and get her started on learning the e-collar language. So the e-collar is completely non-directional. So in other videos, I've talked about using the e-collar for corrections, which is completely different than what is happening here. So when you're using an e-collar for corrections, you're using it at a bit of a higher level to interrupt whatever your dog is doing at a level that's meaningful for them in that moment, which changes based on the circumstances and what your dog sees, because sometimes tap on the shoulder is not enough. They really need like a, hey, you need to pay attention. So you can use e-collars for corrections in certain circumstances. This, though, is we're trying to teach the dog something. So it becomes just like when we teach a dog commands with leash pressure, pressure on, pressure off. This is another pressure source. So it's a super low level pressure. We're not correcting the dog at all for obedience commands because the dog doesn't know the e-collar language yet. So we have to teach the e-collar language first. And then when they've proven after hundreds and hundreds of times that they know what's going on, only then would we ever start to correct them for not complying with obedience commands. So for now, we're using the e-collar at a super low level, the lowest that the dog can feel. We're inside right now. You can see she's falling asleep because it's a generally distraction-free environment. I do have my dog in the room over there and whatever, but it's as almost distraction-free as you can get. So I start inside where distractions are low, and we can just work on the actual skills, and then we build up to distractions inside and then take this training outside. So let's get started. So she's doing a lovely little place command here. I do have a leash on her with her e-collar and a prong collar. You don't need a prong collar on her, but it is just prong collars are extra helpful just to give guidance. So we have her here, and I'm going to tell her, yes. I'm going to say, break. All right, so now we'll start, and I want to see just where she's at. So what is the lowest level she's going to feel? So I'm going to start with this dog. I'm going to start at a 5. And tap. 6, tap. 7, tap. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ooh, all right. So there it was. So let me see if what I'm doing there is I'm noticing what her reaction is. So if The reaction to this low level stim should not be earth shattering. It should be like the twitch of an ear, the turn of the head, just something ever so slight. I'm not actually pressing the button now, but she's kind of just like doing, but it's just a moment because it's like, they're like, wait a minute, like what is that feeling? So it can be kind of tricky to get the initial fit level. So it might not be tight enough. So I think she felt it at a 12, but now she's not quite feeling it. So, and you can see actually, well, you can't see, that box is too loose. So it's sliding around her neck. It should be tight enough that it doesn't really slide when you go to move it around. So I'm going to tighten it up a little bit. Give it a little shake in here. Make sure it's contacting skin. Both of those contact points need to be contacting the dog's skin. So I'll just get a tiny bit tighter. And of course, with your e-collars, follow the manufacturer's recommendations. In general, you don't want to keep an e-collar on a dog in the same position longer than like 3 or 4 hours. So you want to be rotating that box if you have the e-collar on your dog for any prolonged periods, just to avoid pressure sores on their neck. All right, so we're going to start back down because the collar's a little bit tighter. So we're going to start back down at a 5 and see if she starts to feel it. Ooh, yep. So that's kind of her cue. When she starts to feel the e-collar, she like looks down and she's like, what was that? All right, so we're at a 6. So she feels it at a 6. Yes. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so we're going to start with the SIT. All right, so I'm just going to like kind of prompt her to show her like what we're doing. So I'm just going to do, good, so it's a sit, just to get her into the position, break, and I'll walk back around. And now, sit. Good. Oops. Come. Break. Good. So she went all the way down. I really want to teach her the sit. So that's why I had her break. Let's try it again. So what I'm doing is, in the very first stage of e-collar training, holding down the button. So I say sit, and I hold it down until completion. So just like with leash pressure, it's pressure, 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 and you release the pressure the moment that she completes the task. So same thing here. So we'll go sit, guide her with the leash. Good. Awesome. I'm gonna go down to a 5 and see. Break. Good girl. She likes to lay down on the carpet. So I'm gonna stay on the floor here. And sit. Leash guidance. Good. Pressure comes off as soon as her butt goes down. So just like with leash pressure. And I'm using the leash as guidance because she has no idea what's happening when she's feeling this pressure. So I need to guide her. That's the whole part of this initial stage of e-collar training. Break. She really wants the carpet. I know, but you're just gonna lay down. All right. Sit. Good. Awesome. So she's already getting it. She's not going all the way down, which is great. Break. Go walk towards the bed here. Sit. Good. All right, so now we're geared up to go to place. So I have her sit here, and now the same thing goes for place. So I'm going to say place, hold down the button until all 4 paws are on place, then I release the pressure and I'll say good. Place. Good. So I'm using my body to guide her towards the place bed, just like I did when I taught her the place command just with the leash. I want to give her as much guidance as possible, and the e-collar is at the lowest level possible. So it's actually at a level 5 now. I can't feel it personally until it's at a level 7. And dogs differ in their sensitivity. So some dogs are super sensitive, or they're really small and sensitive. So they get a micro educator, which is 20% less stimulation for every level. This is just the mini educator, which is like their regular model. Good. So I'm going to, so she's on place and she's ready to like, she knows place is nap time by now. So she's chilling, which is great, but we're going to we're just show you a few more of these commands here. And then she can go back to her nap. All right. So for this, now I'm going to demonstrate recall. So recall is different than all the other commands. So all the other commands are in the very first stage of e-collar training. It's the lowest level they can feel. Hold it down as you're saying the command. So sit until they sit, release the pressure. Place, hold it down until they go to place, release the pressure. Recall is an outlier because it's not a great feeling for a dog to be like running back the whole time while the pressure's on. So I'm not going to wait for them to complete the command to get all the way back to me to release the pressure. I'm just going to wait until they show intention of coming back, and then I'll take my finger off the button. So they're not feeling it the whole time that they're running back because it's like kind of demotivating to them. And it's just not necessary. So recall is the only one that is like that. So I'm still going to be holding her leash here because she still doesn't know this language yet of what to do. So I'm going to, we're still on a 5. I'm going to say COME as I hold down the button. And as soon as she gets up and starts coming towards me, I release the pressure and I say good. Come. Good girl. Yay. So hopefully I wasn't blocking it there, but you could hopefully see when I release the button, she kind of like twists her head and she's like, oh, something's happening. I don't know what to do. And that's where I come in with my leash guidance and my body, and I make kissing noises and I encourage her to come towards me. Great. Come. Good. Sit. Good. Place. Good. Awesome. I don't want to raise my hand for it to be a cue, but I want you to see when I'm pressing the button. Come. Good girl. Sit. Little leash guidance. Good. We'll use down. Down. Good. Come. Good. Come. Good. So I didn't tell her place yet, so I'm just going to call her off of it. She does have a tendency to want to run onto place, which is awesome. I'm glad she loves it. But that's another area where I set a boundary of, just like with the kennel, don't rush in, don't rush out. With place, don't rush on, don't rush off. It's just another way to, an opportunity for you to be able to set boundaries and have her look to you for permission. It creates kind of a dog that's more tuned into you just in general. Come. Good. Sit. Good. Down. Good. Let's see if she'll come to me without the leash. Come. Good girl. I use my body and my noises for guidance there. Sit. Oh, yeah. Big stretch. Sit. Good. Down. Good. I released a little too early there, but that's okay. No. Down. Good. No, sweetie, no. I went up to a 14 there to correct her. I don't want her biting the table. And you notice, you can see the second that I corrected her, because she's like, no. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go back down to a 5. No. Down. Good. So whenever she gets back up, this goes for both leash training and e-collar training, just training in general, I want to get her down in the closest position to where she was when she got up. So there are a lot of dogs who actually they learn to creep up. So you'll put them one place, they'll creep up, you'll put them down. They'll creep up, you'll put them down again, and then they get closer and closer to where they want to be. And where they're supposed to be is where I asked them to be in the first place. So you will get dogs that are clever like that. So to avoid that, just whenever they get up, calmly bring them back to where they were. Come. Good girl. Sit. She's like, Good. Place. Good. Very good. So that's the gist of the first stage of e-collar training. She has a foundation of what the commands are with just leash work. And then I add in the e-collar at the lowest level that she can feel and use it just like leash pressure. So pressure on, pressure off. Sit, pressure on until her butt hits the floor, and immediately release the second that her butt hits the floor. Same thing with down. Down, hold it until she gets all the way down. Place, hold it until she gets all the way down onto place. The only outlier, as I mentioned, is with recall, where you tap until they show that they're committed to coming towards you, and then you release it. If they were to deviate and start to go somewhere else, then you can say come again and hold it down until they show that intention to come towards you, because we don't want a dog that's just running under constant pressure. Even though it's super low pressure, it's just it's not necessary. So that's the gist of it. Obviously, we would do a ton more reps in just this first stage. There's additional stages of teaching e-collars, layering them over obedience commands, because as I've said many times, this thing is non-directional. You're literally teaching your dog an entirely new language. So you have to be very patient with them. They don't know what's going on. They rely on you to give them guidance. So I'm giving her tons of guidance here. She still has her leash on. It's at the lowest level that she can feel. And in the next few days, we will start to make some awesome progress.